The ballots are counted and the signs are coming down, and across Alberta, the dust is finally starting to settle. Now, it's been a few days since voters went to the polls in the municipal elections here in the province of Alberta, shaping the councils and the county tables that will steer their communities for the next 4 years. And while some familiar faces will be returning to their seats, there's also a wave of new leaders stepping into the role of local government for the very first time. In rural Alberta, especially, that mix of experience and fresh perspectives could mean a slower start to the term, as new council finds their footing and as veteran council members work to bring them up to speed on the challenges that lay bare. So how did the pieces fall on Monday? What will it mean for rural municipalities as they look towards the future? To get a sense of the mood and the message rural leaders are hoping to bring to Edmonton next month at the annual RMA convention, we sat down with Rural Municipalities of Alberta President Carl Westerlund, and she joins us to talk about the aftermath of the election, the priorities for rural communities, and what she's hoping to hear from both seasoned and first-time councillors as they prepare for the work ahead. This is Municipal Affairs. President, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I want to start with a very first thing and say congratulations on your re-election in Brazeau County. How are you feeling to be back for another 4 years?
Well, thank you so much, Chris. It's obviously extremely exciting to have the trust of my division put back behind me once again. I am entering my fifth term and just excited with the experience behind me. I'm ready to hit the ground running, so there should be no pause, no time to try and get my feet underneath me. I will continue on and move forward.
So let's talk about the big picture of all across Alberta, if you don't mind, because that is what we're doing here today. We are now 5 days after the election. This is airing on Friday, October 24th. The pieces have finally, I think, settled. I think 99.9% are officially done and recounts are done. What was your key takeaway from Monday night as you saw the results come in?
Well, there is definitely a change on the wind of rural Alberta. We've seen a number of our pillars from rural Alberta fall, and we know we're going to see some new faces around the table. And then new faces mean new ideas coming forward, and I'm excited to pick up where we left off and see where we're going to be going.
Does that give you pause for a moment to see that many people change over? Because I'm looking at Clearwater County, I'm looking at Put Saddle Hills, Foothills County, the Reeve was defeated, or councillor, because they elect their Reeve in the large. Rocky View County, there was a defeat for the current Reeve. Is this going to be a bit of a steep learning curve? Because the issues that rural municipalities are facing can't just stop while these new councillors get sworn in.
Yes, and it's definitely going to be a steep learning curve for any of the elected officials, and that's no different than any time that we have a municipal election. 15 years ago, I was newly elected, and I had people say the same thing. Oh, you've got a steep learning curve, and yes, you do. We use the analogy of being hit with a fire hose and turning the water on, and you're trying to drink from that fire hose as you're moving forward. I know, and I've got faith, and I've got the reassurance that I know that those who are new coming in can definitely pick up that torch and continue on. Those that ran on one issues or were, kind of lumped in with single issues, you're going to have a huge challenge ahead of you because, I tell people when they run on single issues that, you get in, first council meeting, you fix that issue. So what are you going to do for 4 years? So those ones that come in that way, they're going to have a struggle for sure. But that being said, I'm excited. Change is always good. A little bit of change is good. And you know what? There's enough seasoned and experienced elected officials that remained in place that I think, the call out to us to make sure that we make sure the new ones come on are feeling comfortable, that we give them the tools and are able to help them as they go forward in their journey. And remember, at one point we were new too. And somebody took the time to I don't want to use the analogy hold our hands, but somebody took the time to mentor us and help us along. And now in turn, it's our turn to return that.
Over the course of the campaign, I spoke with many municipal leaders and candidates who are running in this election in rural Alberta. And the one thing I often heard was economic diversification, infrastructure projects, the path forward working with their urban counterparts is a big concern for a lot of rural municipal leaders. As we are still in early days, I'm assuming you're having some conversations with some members of RMA and also with some members from across the province. What are you hearing about from the ground that your local members heard that they're telling you to say, this is what we need to focus on? Because it seems like with this turnover, we might have gone a little bit too far away from what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a clear message that we send as we move forward into convention is, we need to know and be very well aware of the lane and where we are where we sit in the levels of government, and the lanes that we play in. Even just door knocking and working in my own area, infrastructure, road maintenance was probably top priority for the majority of my residents, and that's been something that hasn't honestly differed from election to election. Uh, and I think that that focus going forward, you talked about the relationships with our urbans. Absolutely, there was changes to the ICFs. That's one thing that we're going to have to tackle as a new council, each and every one of us, as we go back and take our seats around the table. That's going to be coming up in the next 6 months. If not, some are already underway. Some are going to start right away. Some will start in the new year. But that's going to be a big piece of what we have to work on. One thing that we didn't mention, and I think it's worth mentioning, the challenges that we have lying ahead with working with the provincial government too, as well. We obviously are very well aware, and I would hope the new ones that are coming in are very well aware of Bill 50 and the changes that we're going to see as elected officials in our municipality, and the eroding of our autonomy too, as well, should be part of that conversation. Obviously, we didn't hear that door knocking because most of our residents, it's more internal stuff, that kind of thing. We didn't hear that door knocking. Actually, to be said, I did have a few people actually that have been watching the news and picked up on some of that and talked a little bit about what our autonomy is going to look like. But yeah, there is no shortage of issues for us to work on over the next 4 years. They're going to be a little bit different county to county, rural area to rural area. But I think what we're going to see going forward and kind of billowing up to the top quite quickly is obviously infrastructure is going to continue to be one of our number one focuses.
So, as more municipal leaders are going to be sworn in through their official meetings to start off their terms, I got to ask the very simple question. I think you can probably answer this better than anyone can. But what is the benefit of RMA to those new members who are just about to start their career in municipal politics today? Because there are probably people going, what is this organization? I didn't know about it. I know about my local county, but what is this other entity that I'm going to have to go to Edmonton in a few weeks to sit down with other municipal leaders? So give me the pitch, President.
Well, rural municipalities of Alberta represents all 69 rural municipalities in the province, not only with the province, but the federal government too, as well. So we do a lot of the advocacy work. We are going to be, we are a trusted source of education and information. If you've got a issue in your area, we probably have a study on it and a report. And, it might have been done 5 years ago, but it's still relevant to what we're facing. We have staff in place that are, world-class staff that are very, very knowledgeable on key issues facing rural Alberta, and will be able to help with moving some of those things forward. You've got a board that is well experienced, and there to help you too as well. And it could be just, I'm gonna put my toe in there. We're going to have council conflict. We know we do every single time we have an election, and every term we have council conflicts. Lean on to your fellow councillors for advice. You don't need to lean in your own community, but we're going to be that network to help you build out so that you can build your experience and gain the knowledge. And be able to connect you with other rural elected officials from across the province. And, most importantly, Chris, we're here to help. it's not about us and the and moving our issues forward or our concerns. Our issues and our concerns are yours because that's we're here to serve and we're here to represent our membership. The other big piece, and I would be amiss if I didn't mention it. We also own canoe procurement. So a lot of the items purchased in your municipality, right down to the toilet paper in the washroom, the pens to the grader and the fire truck in your community, we offer a program to procure and get you the best savings and the best best cost for your procurement needs too as well. And the other big piece that we play a large part in, and it's not as well known either, just like the procurement side, but we own an insurance company. So my organization is the one that insures your county office. We insure your trucks, your pickups that are on the road. We're and more often than not, we're the ones who are insuring your community halls and insuring your nonprofit groups in your organization. So we are a large part of what municipalities do today, day to day in their communities. And I want to really hammer home: we are here to help, we're here to listen, and we're here to offer guidance and experience if you need.
Because you are a member-driven organization. Because we're going to get into it in a few seconds, but at this next month's convention, you have policies, and the members get to vote on it, and that's the direction that the
Yes.
board takes, right?
Yes, and that's we do have a resolution session, and actually those resolutions are already up on our website. So anybody that's new and keen on learning, just pop over to our website. It's easy to find. I believe we have 9 resolutions coming to the floor. I will anybody that's coming and returning. It is a lot less than we normally deal with. We're usually in the 30s, but we do find on election year our resolutions are we do have less of them. So it just means in the spring I think we're going to be busier, but all that information is available there. And your board's approachable too. If you need to get a hold of us, our contact information is on the website too. So just reach out. And like I said, Chris, I really truly mean it. We are here to help in any way that we can.
I want to turn back to the election and talk about the big elephant in the room for a moment. Voter turnout across the province was down significantly in urban centers, and we saw numbers from rural Alberta seeing their numbers down as well. Now, this spells trouble for me that democracy is in threat here because people are not showing up to the doorstep. What do you take away from that? And how do we get more people engaged at the local level? Because to quote our mutual friend Scott Pierce, it is the government of proximity and is the closest to you, so it is going to make the biggest impact. So how do we get more people involved?
I think that's the $1 million question, Chris. I door knocked on over 500 doors just in my division alone. And I believe I had probably about 40% turnout too at the polls. And, if I had the answer on how to get people to come out, I think I'd probably be a millionaire and I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing what I do. I'd be out solving the voter apathy issue, not only in rural Alberta, not only in Alberta, but right across it seems, democratic nations right across the world seem to have this issue. For the love of me, Chris, I don't know why. My 18-year-old daughter, she just turned 18. She was so excited to go vote. Her and I went and voted together at the advance polls. We had a moment. We gave each other a hug. But I don't know. Ever since my kids were little, I always take them with me just to make sure that, they understand the importance of it. And I just wish we would do that more with, maybe we need to get after, maybe the adults in the room are the lost cause. Maybe we really need to instill that in our children and in our up and coming voters, the importance of getting out to vote.
And then on the flip side of that, getting more people on the ballot, because when looking across the province, and some people may say they like being acclaimed, other people say that's a threat to democracy, as I would. We are seeing a lot more acclamations, not even in rural, but also in urban. I'm not saying this is a rural issue, but I'm looking at you because you're the president of RMA. Do you
Yeah.
think that the acclamation issue is a big issue that we have to worry about, or are you comfortable with the way that the dice rolled this time?
You're gonna like this one. I think my thoughts on that is I'm a fence sitter. I see where you're coming from too, Chris, but at the same time, from where I stand and being an elected official and running 5 terms and having to run election all 5 of those terms, when I see somebody acclaimed, honestly, if you ask me what I think, I'm like, obviously they're doing a great job because nobody's running against them. Like that's the first thing I think of, right? Everybody has when those people are like, oh, they're acclaimed and they're kind of sour or negative about it. I looked at them and the first thing I said, Chris, is, well, if you have such a strong opinion on it, why didn't you put your name forward? I didn't see you filing the paperwork. Didn't see you pounding the pavement. I didn't see you put your name like to get up off the couch and dive into it. On the flip side, you and we've talked about this a number of times. Who wants to do our job anymore? It's, it can be a bloodbath. It can be incredibly negative, not only on your own personal mental health, it's tough on our families. You got people, I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. I have been yelled at, screamed at in hockey arenas, at the grocery store, in front of my children. That part of it's not fun. And I can see some of that also not people not wanting to step forward, but at the same breath still complaining about it. And I failed to even mention probably the biggest turnoff right now is social media. It is absolutely when you sit behind a computer screen and hide behind a computer screen, those keyboard warriors out there, there's no accountability for people with their actions or what they say online anymore. Quite frankly, Chris, I get why people don't want to put their names forward, but at the same time, then you can't complain about it if you don't.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I want to turn to this upcoming convention in November, and I want to start with the big news for RMA, and that is you're losing a few of your directors, two through defeats at the council election, one through retirement. Gonna have to ask the hard-hitting question, but what does this spell for RMA as we enter into this unknown moment right now? Because I can imagine your shoulders are going to be pretty heavy until a new vice president, new division
Mhm.
3, 5, and 4 are elected. Or is RMA in a good spot right now?
We absolutely are. I know for sure I'll be getting. There's going to be 3 new faces and around the table for sure. I'm very optimistic. That's one thing about rural Alberta is the people who either come in new or are returning. I know we are going to have some very qualified, very excellent people to be able to step into those roles. I just highly encourage anybody that's considering sitting in and taking part and being a part of our organization. Please do your homework. There is a lot of heavy lifting that goes on within our organization. It's a significant time commitment. Make sure that your councils are on board with you, because I strongly believe you have to have your home support in order to hold these type of roles. If you don't, it's incredibly difficult to try and find a balance. I'm forever grateful. My council has always been 100% supportive of me and doing this type of work and realize the importance of what we're doing. But I think we're going to get some great new faces around the table. I've been here for 8 years now, and this is the most turnover I've seen on a board through an election. So, a little bit apprehensive about that and what it's going to look like. But at the same time, Chris, rural Alberta. We have some of the greatest people in this country, in this province, that represent their communities at this level, and I'm very optimistic things are going to be great for the organization.
Now, I could probably ramble off every single person who was defeated in this election, but there's three that I just mentioned, and I want to sort of ask you about their contributions to rural Alberta and also to RMA. And that is John Burrows, that is Kevin Weerstra, and that is Amber Link, three members of your board who are not returning after this convention. What was their contributions to both rural Alberta and RMA?
They have been incredible leaders, not only in their communities, but with our board too as well. Their dedication, their compassion, their commitment to seeing rural Alberta continue to thrive and move forward, and in their own communities. It is big losses in those areas, and those who are stepping into those roles, they do have some big shoes to fill. And there's going to be, there is definitely an empty hole, and it's going to be hard to replace people with that quality, that caliber, and that much expertise. I wish them all three of them well in their continued journey moving forward. And it is a bit of a sad day. I'll take a little bit of a personal note. I mean, not only are we board members, not only are we fellow elected officials, they're friends too as well. But as one door closes, another will open, and I'm quite excited to see what the future for all three hold.
So I want to turn to the convention as a whole, and we are going to be talking about a lot of things. There's going to be ministers' forum. I'm assuming a speech from the new Minister of Municipal Affairs, probably the leader of the official opposition and the premier. I'm not sure because I've not seen the official agenda yet, but usually it happens in the fall. What are you looking forward to most about this upcoming convention?
Well, this convention is going to be, I think, a more of a learning convention. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but you and I both know that there was significant turnover, not only in rural Alberta but urban Alberta too as well. So we are going to be really focusing on educating our new members coming in, as well as that refresher for those who are returning. So I think that's going to be kind of the basis of where we're coming from at convention. So expect a lot of learning. I am asking those who are returning, those that are acclaimed, to make sure that you go make a new friend. You take some of our newly elected officials under your wing, show them the ropes. You are correct. We will have a bear pit session. The ministerial forum will be there. Not quite sure yet on the scheduling, but as always, we try to have the premier and the official opposition speaking, and a great opportunity for our new members to and newly elected officials to connect with the provincial government too as well. So I'm super excited, really, really excited to see how things are going to move forward, and just expect, to be incredibly busy the 4 days that you're in Edmonton. You're going to have barely any time to breathe. You're going to be like me 15 years ago when I walked in there going, what is going on? I have no idea why I'm here. We will make sure at the end of day 4, you know why you're there, and help you with the path and the journey that you're on.
And come see me while I'm there because I'll be set up and I'll want to talk to the new fresh officials. But I want to leave on one final question, and it's about the future. The dust has now settled. The signs have all picked up. Hopefully, knock on wood, they've all been picked up. Are you optimistic? Are you hopeful for the future with this new crop of new incoming municipal leaders and veteran municipal leaders around every single one of your rural municipal members, counties, municipal districts?
All of the above. I'm extremely excited to see where we're going to move forward. We know there's a lot of changes on the horizon, not only from what the province is working on, to what's going on with the federal government. One thing I will guarantee you, we all have a lot to learn and to continue to learn. And there's going to be no shortage of issues for us to work through over the next 4 years, and no shortage of projects that need to get done. And I hope you're ready to roll your sleeves up and get to work, because we are going to hit the ground running. We are going to make sure that rural Alberta is in a better place than it is today from 4 years from now. And that is my goal.
President, always a pleasure to sit down with you. Looking forward to seeing you up in Edmonton when we attend the RMA conventions. So see you there. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights into the world of this all-important Alberta municipal election that took place on Monday. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platforms, or if you have and are watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button there as well. Stay in the loop with all the latest and greatest episodes. Head over Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights into this aftermath of this last municipal election here in the province of Alberta. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the follow button there as well. Now, if you can, share this episode with your friends, your family, and even your community to help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we will be back Monday morning with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs. Till then, everyone.